National Day during the height of the civil unrest that year. They had led a protest march from Causeway Bay to Central without the police's approval. More recently, Lai had his assets frozen by authorities who alleged that they were related to offences endangering national security. Beijing labels Jimmy Lai a traitor after his frequent visits to Washington to meet officials like former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to rally support for democracy in Hong Kong. The arrests and subsequent convictions of dozens of pro-democracy activists is fallout from the 2019 anti-government protests, which started out as opposition against an extradition bill which the government later withdrew, but led to the worst crisis the city had ever seen since the handover. Roland Lim, CNA, Hong Kong.
The authorities in Singapore have notified a social media platform known as MeWe that they should remove an offending poll which ranks female ascetises or religious leaders based on their sexual attractiveness. Singapore's Infocomm Media Development Authority says this content breaches the Internet Code of Practice as it constitutes prohibited material. The authority has also contacted other major social media players to ensure this poll is not circulated. Singapore's Minister of Communications and Information, Josephine Teo, who is also the chairman of the People's Action Party Women's Wing, says she is appalled by this poll and she's condemned it in the strongest terms. She says this is a deliberate exercise to demean women, especially those who have dedicated themselves to upholding their faith. She says that the ministry will continue its work to protect women and girls from online harm. Whether offline or online, respect and safety for women must be the norm. Your Asia Business Update is next with Henry Yin. Now, JD Logistics delivered a sparkling IPO today, surging at the start of its first day of trading on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And the UN Human Rights Council has agreed to launch a probe into alleged crimes said to have been committed in the recent 11-day conflict between Israel and Hamas.
Should you use your CPF for property investment? Come to the Singapore Property Show 2021 to learn more from leading property market experts in 40 informative webinars. Our top flight speakers will be covering a wide range of topics to help you make a most informed decision. How do you make the most of your CPF for property investment? Are ECs still the golden goose? Is owning multiple properties only for the wealthy? What kind of property is in demand by district? Get these answers and more. Plus, stand to win $8,000 worth of cash prizes. Join us at our webinars this weekend on 29th and 30th May for essential property investment advice. What are you waiting for? Visit sps2021.99.co to register now. The Singapore Property Show 2021 is proudly organised by MediaCorp and our esteemed partners.
This is Game Oji-san.
I make YouTube videos. While he does bespoke carpentry, I get up close with a new generation of local craft people.
Whatever it took to become a woodworker, I think I did it.
Starting with a furniture artisan.
If you're a CEO, the desk represents you.
Will I keep on my fingers? Handmade Tales, a brand new series, Sunday on CNA.
Every day, the financial world goes through dramatic rise and falls. We'll track the biggest market movers and show you where the opportunities lie. Get the experts' take on the performance of key indices. Plus all the analysis to help you understand forces driving global economies. The daily business news you need, only on CNA. This segment is brought to you by Xeon Corporation.
This Saturday, could rising inflation derail the post-pandemic economic recovery?
Those parts of the market that are more overvalued could easily get hit.
Relooking China's growth model as its population ages.
Chinese babies are not growing into industrial workers in the future.
Plus, how to be a part of the blockchain boom. Saturday on CNA.
so little land with so many mouths to feed.
Land matters. The future is going to be really challenging.
Dan akhirnya dibuang seperti ini dengan mubazir sangat disayangkan sekali. Ini adalah solusinya.
We can turn Singapore into a protein powerhouse overnight, but people don't understand what we're doing.
Women farmers are the solution for the food security problem.
Race to Feed the World, Monday on CNA.
Welcome back in business. China markets on firmer ground after a weak start this Friday. Fresh optimism about the global recovery and Wall Street's positive closing overnight helped lift trader sentiment at the end of the trading week. Now, checking the major indices in the country, we are looking at a pretty mixed picture, and Shanghai Comp is now off about 0.1%, and Shenzhen Comp is up about 0.1%, as we are seeing those military-linked stocks supporting the market sentiment. However, Chinese liquor makers are also weighing on the market sentiment. In Hong Kong, the benchmark index Hang Seng is now up about 0.4%. And mainland markets picking up positive vibes from the upbeat showing in JD Logistics' trading debut in Hong Kong. Investors liking the Hong Kong market debut of JD.com's delivery arm, and shares of JD Logistics surging more than 17% earlier, and right now it's up around 11.3%. However, its parent company JD.com is now under pressure, off about 0.3%. Well, the initial public offering was more than 700 times subscribed by retail investors in the city's second largest float this year, and shares were priced at little more than 40 Hong Kong dollars apiece. That was at the lower end of the expected range. But still, JD Logistics raised more than $3 billion. That's second to the more than $5 billion raised 3 months ago by video sharing mobile app Kuaishou. While with more than 1 million investors bidding, the IPO is reportedly the third most popular one in the city after offerings by Kuaishou as well as Nongfu Spring. And JD Logistics' institutional offer was about 11 times subscribed. But the popularity has far outshone its fundamentals. JD Logistics' first quarter gross profit plunged more than 72% on year to $36 billion and is expected to record a significant adjusted loss this year. The company is also facing fierce competition in the express delivery sector as more participants edge into the market. Well, the listing comes at a time when Chinese regulators are tightening regulations on fintech companies and targeting tech giants with stricter anti-monopoly rules. Of course, for more, let's bring in Jiahe Chen. He is Chief Investment Officer at Novum RK Technologies. And Jiahe speaks to us today from Beijing. Well, so Jiahe, why JD Logistics IPO proved to be quite popular? It's expected to record a significant adjusted loss in 2021. So what's attracting investors and what do you think of their fundamentals?
Well, what's actually attracting investors is that if you look at the logistic industry in China, it's actually growing at a very fast speed. I mean, maybe 20% per year because of the digital market has been growing. And JD Logistics is actually a very competitive player in this market, probably only next to Shunfeng Logistics. So investors are really confident and happy about this stock, and it actually provides them with a new opportunity to buy a competitor of Shunfeng, a very strong, capable competitor of Shunfeng. So, you are an investor, you find more targets, you're pretty happy about that.
So unlike the quite successful story we are seeing today, so before JD Logistics, we have seen the recent flop and fumble of Baidu and Bilibili in its Hong Kong listings. So could JD Logistics' gain today be a turning point for Hong Kong's mainland company IPOs?
Well, I think that's actually different between different companies. I mean, if you look at the financial statement of Baidu, it's actually been stagnating for like 2 or 3 years. It's actually quite different from JD. JD gives you a lot of imagination about its future. It might become the largest logistic company in China right now. Maybe it's second largest next to Shunfeng if you think about the quality, but it might grow into a very large one. But Baidu is actually not giving you a lot of imaginations. So that's actually different between different companies. business. But if you look at the pressure that is being taken by the tech companies in Hong Kong right now, they are not actually being lifted yet. I mean, if you look at the stock price of JDs, it dropped from 422 to around 300 right now. So the pressure is still there, and mainly coming from the increasing of the competition and the increasing of the regulation from the government.
And from the imagination to harsh reality, we have to admit that the whole industry